Alright, so I don't usually do this, but I think I might have reviewed this already. I'm not sure, but just in case. So The Black Phone 2. I really like this film because it brings out the Catholic in me, because I was raised Catholic, and this film has a lot of Catholic themes in it. Usually, that type of thing would turn me off from a film, but the way Catholicism is used in The Black Phone 2 actually really enhances the emotional journeys of the main characters. Like, it didn't make me proud to be a Catholic or be raised Catholic, but I just like it's a very interesting way to implement religion into the plot of a movie. The Black Phone 2 is very different from the Black Phone 1. Black Phone 2 is like I don't know, it's a sequel obviously, but it definitely expands a lot on the original Black Phone movie in a good way. It's definitely a bit wilder and more unstable, I would say. And in some ways, in most ways, scarier and yeah, more tense than the first one. Um, yeah. Well, so let's do the synopsis here. Oh, that's a really long synopsis. Okay, basically, if you don't like horror films, don't watch this. Um, but if you do, watch it. That's kind of it. Oh, and if you don't mind, or if you want to watch a religious film that doesn't really preach religion, but like, so that's why, again, that's the main thing I like about Black Phone 2. Again, the Catholicism aspect to it, because now it makes it seem like really cultural or relevant. Especially, I'm here living in the U.S. and in Arizona, where there are a lot of like Mexicans, so there's a big Catholic influence here. Um, and being raised in that environment, it's nice to like see Catholicism used in a way to like positively move the story forward. Um, it's not a Catholic film, but again, it's just I love the Catholic elements in it, like things that would be typically sort of like unattractive for me in a religious film, but I just love the way it's done here, and the horror itself. Like there's some creativity here. I've heard that some people um sort of see this as a copy of like Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, because there are elements of this where the antagonist goes into dreams and stuff happens. That's not really good, but I don't really want to spoil it. But I like the way it's done here. And I haven't seen the Freddy Krueger movies, just a few of them, but I just love the way it's done here a lot more. Like, I think there's more, because there's more connection here, because the villain here, the antagonist and the protagonist have like a very interesting intimate history that I don't know is common with other sort of like slasher films or horror films. And the first Black Phone movie does a great job of setting it up, and this one taking place in the future, like as a sequel usually does, right? It just expands on it really well. Like the first Black Phone seems like it could just sort of end. You didn't really need a sequel, but if you're gonna do one, like this is how you do it. Like this is a great expansion, new story, same characters, same concept, but just again, like just expanding into it, and it doesn't feel unnecessary. Like I just really like this, this plot, this movie. Alright, I'm done talking about it. Next up is Death of a Unicorn. I'm not gonna go into this one too much because Death of a Unicorn is basically probably the worst movie I'm gonna like review today. I would only recommend it if you want to see CGI unicorns stand up for themselves, or have obvious critiques of wealth. Like, it's not like I disagree with the messages of this movie, but I wish it was better, because I kind of went into this with sort of the same feelings I have about Jurassic World. Like I just sort of sometimes I like to watch movies about like creature feature films where there are creatures who are threatened and they do retaliate against their aggressors, which most of the time are humans. But wow, 76% of people like this movie. Dude, these audience scores for these movies are surprising me. I might not be alone. Oh, by that, it doesn't make sense about this movie because I'm just basically like not talking a lot of good stuff about it. Like, it's okay. Oh, here, Wenlei Ma says it perfectly. Death of a Unicorn operates on a level of it's fine without landing any knockout blows. I wouldn't put it as fine. I would put it a little lower, like it's all right. It's okay. It's not a bad film. It's just with the actors in it, which I shouldn't really judge a movie by that, but like I don't know. Yeah, I shouldn't really judge a movie by that. Let's see what the critics say. Receiving some sparkle from Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega's father-daughter's rapport, Death of Unicorns broad satire is a bit too on the horn. Exactly. Like, it's really obvious what the movie's trying to do. But makes for an entertaining, splattery creature feature. Well, I think about that. The creature portions of the film, like, once that starts going, like, you know, the main conflict, in this case, the physical conflict between the humans and the unicorns, it gets more fun, obviously, but, you know, it's definitely, like, it could have been better. It's kind of throwaway. There are other films, I can't think of them right now, that probably do tackle, like, what the story's trying to say, but, like, do it in a better way. It's alright, but I'm not going to recommend it. But if you're looking for an alright film, and you want to see unicorns, like live-action unicorns, which are actually, like, presented very well here. These are the best unicorns I've seen on film, so that counts for something. Check it out. Next up, Bugonia. Yeah, Bugonia, this one has, I believe, Emma Stone, yes, in it. This one, the ending surprised me. That might be a spoiler, because I'm one of those guys who watches trailers, and I kind of always think I know what it's going to be. Kind of like a dimmer audience member or trailer watcher. But then, of course, I'm wrong, and the ending is different than I thought. But it was done, like, that change, like, even though initially I thought it was kind of a dumb ending, but as the ending went along, and the ending went towards its end, I like the way that ending was presented. I thought it was kind of creative. I thought it was kind of like, and the whole movie itself, like, kind of like my slight issue with the Eternals, the MCU movie. Like, this one, everything is filmed almost too thoughtfully and carefully. Not all of it, but like when it comes to the more complicated scenes where things get really busy, or not busy, no, but like there are a lot of things in frame. This film tries too hard, I think, to capture everything, and it does tend to look a little bit fakey. I'm just kind of like talking just to talk. Like, that's a slight criticism. But besides that, I think the way this movie tries to, like, talk about what it's trying to say, like the message, the moral of the movie, I think it does it phenomenally. It does it very, very well. And I don't, like, because it deals with things that, you know, we, like, conspiracy theories, class. I'm not gonna say class warfare. It kind of sounds aggressive, but it is in some cases. Class awareness, I would say. So the synopsis for Bugonia is that two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she is an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. And, I'm not gonna go into spoilers. Critics say that, in Bugonia, it is a bonkers entertainment that applies director Yorgos Lanthimos' whip-smart method of modern society's madness. Yeah, that's a funny one. Because, like, I watch too much, like, sort of news, and I know there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. Like, when you think about the sort of crazy things people say online with such confidence, and it's most likely false, and they express it in such an entertaining way, I feel like the director just picked out one of those instances in real life and just made a movie about it. Like, this is a mad movie. And it is, as the critics' consensus says, like, a whip start method to sort of like talk about like modern society's madness. So I'm always reading like the first like normal audience reviewers here on this website, Rotten Tomatoes. But of course, yeah, it has a lot. Like a lot of people are reviewing it, and there are more. Like it usually lists 6 tops on the homepage for the movies. But but for the most part, everyone really likes this film. I'm gonna safely say, like, if the tomato meter, which is the critics, and the popcorn meter, which is the audience score, if they're both above like 80, which it is in this case, I'll recommend it. Even if they're both above 70, I would still recommend it. No movie's gonna be 100 perfect. There probably are actually, and I probably might have forgotten about them. But Bugonia is definitely a modern movie with modern film techniques. And the way, like, all the characters are sort of comfortably like in their mindset and intentions and motivations in this film is also kind of simple and easy to follow, and it does make it kind of grounded, because like the other film I reviewed a while ago called A Simple Plan, directed by Sam Raimi. This one, Bugonia, does take place in a small like town environment. So everything that happens, like kind of all the madness that happens in this film is kind of contained, which makes it, again, just easier to follow, and makes the madness in some ways like just crazier, contained, but then like kind of unleashed towards the end, without getting into spoilers again. So that's Bugonia. I recommend that one. Next up is The Alabama Solution. This is a documentary, and this is not a fun film. Well, it is fun in the sense that, like, I always find it enlightening, even if it's tragic and sad and still relevant and modern, to learn about American history. So this is a 2-hour documentary. That's 100 from 27 critics and 94 from audience members. That's high. So I'm definitely gonna recommend this. And if you're American, check it out. Like, it's not like it does sound like homework. Like, that's basically what this kind of is. But as an American, I tend to connect my Americanness to other Americans, and it's sad to learn about. Like, for example, okay, here's the synopsis. In 2019, filmmakers visit an Alabama prison to film a revival meeting. Off camera, incarcerated men whisper a message. Terrible things are going on here and being kept secret. This sparks an immersive 6-year investigation to discover the reality behind the walls of one of the nation's deadliest prison systems. Through unprecedented direct access and video shot on contraband cell phones, the filmmakers learn from the men inside about a suspicious and violent death. The story unfolds in real time, revealing it isn't an isolated incident, and that the official version appears far from the truth. What follows is a shocking story of brutality, corruption, and a system in collapse, and as the men fight for their own survival, they embark on a campaign of resistance against all odds. Yeah, even though it's a documentary, there's definitely a shift in emotion and vibes that you would get from watching a normal drama or fiction, film. Because it does start off, sort of like, okay, what's going on? What's the context of this film? And, okay, this is happening. Oh, this is bad. And then there is a sense of resistance during the film, like seeing how people try to solve this problem. Even when it's getting worse, when it comes to stuff you might have heard in the news in the US, this film explores private prison systems, which basically means profit over rehabilitation. So the people who run these prisons, they don't have an incentive to take care of the inmates. Their only incentive is to make money, and that usually means just giving the inmates the bare minimum of anything, like healthcare, food, accommodation. And if I sound concerned about it, or if I sound like I'm humanizing criminals too much, like I think of the way other countries manage their prisons, or how they assist or help out those who need help, or assistance with anything, and And the US has a very sort of like bipolar view on how to help people, if you haven't noticed, if you follow American news. Um, but the Alabama Solution did, or the film The Alabama Solution did, how to say it, like, did assure me of a sort of paranoia and sort of a truth that I am kind of scared to admit to, which is that the private prison system in the US is real. It's happening and it's just expanding. And you can see a little bit of this. I think I gotta look into it, but like, yeah, I think like there are detention centers now being built for immigrants in the US, and I've heard really like inhumane stories in there about abuses they go through, and similar with this one about inmates in these for-profit prisons in the southeast of the US, which honestly seems like a beautiful part of the country when it comes to the people and the sort of natural environment that's there, the tropical scene, the food. But it's sad that really a lot of it comes down, to like there's still a lot of racism there even today. Like, it's sort of like, even though slavery on the surface was eliminated in the US, a century or two ago or something like that, there is still modern day slavery. But I think people don't equate slavery to the way people are in prisons today. In this case, a very literal prison, like, where they're forced to do labor also, and not get paid for it, or they get paid for it, it's just like cents, or something a day, or $1 a day, if anything. I think at most, I don't know, I forget. But it's a insane system where I don't know how anyone could get better. And even this documentary does have like interviews with people who do run these things, and the way those people talk about the prisoners, especially from like justify it with religion, Christianity in particular, about how, like, I think it was a warden, I don't know, one of these managers of these prisons or whatever, I mentioned, said, I hope they find Jesus in prison, because, they're not, like, something like implying they're never going to get out, and there's no hope or rehabilitation for them except finding comfort in religion. And it's just, it doesn't reflect reality at all. It doesn't reflect why those criminals are in prison. It doesn't, so in that respect, kind of it brings up a lot of sort of issues with, theocracies or dictatorships, and of course racism and xenophobia. Like, you can branch off like a lot of concerns, real life concerns that this documentary brings up from the initial one that's saying right now, which is like modern day slavery and the for-profit prison system. I would love to watch more, and I will actually. I'm inspired now to watch more videos about this one, because as an American, for me, I think detainment, unlawful detainment, and the abuse towards criminals, and the lack of rehabilitative sort of services in the country. Basically, in a nutshell, this film, the private prison system is the worst thing that Americans have to deal with in the US. And for me, I don't know why, but for me, it's the number one sort of issue in the US that bothers me the most. There's the growing wealth gap in the US. Because this one, for-profit private prison systems, like the people who manage those capitalize on everything. They capitalize on dividing people, on dividing citizens against each other. They profit off of racism. They profit out of xenophobia, which is a distrust towards immigrants. And it's also a very accelerated, hyper, sort of form of capitalism. But there is still hope in the film. Like, when it comes to films like these that talk about ongoing issues, of course they're gonna sprinkle, some some moments of hope in it, and there always is. Like, there are people, of course. I would say most U.S. citizens are not comfortable with what's going on there, but I think most people do know about it in the U.S. Either they don't want to do anything about it, they're too scared to do something about it, or they think they're powerless against it. But that's the Alabama solution. Sorry, if none of that sounds interesting, don't watch it. But if it sounds interesting, you should definitely check it out, because I like learning about U.S. history. That one was long. How much time do I have left? That must have been like 10 minutes on that one film. Oh, man, I'm not even halfway. Alright, next up is the LA Firestorms. I don't think it's gonna be... I think I need Wikipedia for this one. LA Firestorm series. Okay, never mind. We might not be able to find it. But basically, I knew very little about the LA Firestorm series. Oh, this is it. I think, yeah, 3-part documentary series, 3 episodes. Yeah, 3 episodes. So here we go. Perfect. And it's a really cool documentary series because, yeah, the first one talks about, yeah, like the intro, like the fire starting, and then the second, like the part 2 of the documentary is about like the night, or like, going through experiencing it, and then the third one kind of talks about how it ends in the episode. So it's a pretty good chronological, like I like how each of the 3 parts are kind of its own sort of self-contained story, but of course stuff actually happens. I do like it because I don't know much about the LA fires. I've only heard about stupid things about that I heard from the mainstream news, which is basically people blaming people for it, politicians blaming other politicians for it. But this documentary does a good job of explaining why it happened, how it happened, who's to blame, who's not to blame. And that's the most important part, who's not to blame. Because I'll just like cut right to the chase here. It seems like they did not know a fire could be started to that extent. So the main issue, or the main reason why the LA fires grew to how they did, I thought I heard something, is because LA was not prepared for it. And honestly, no, I don't think any city in the world would be prepared for it. Because it was just like, it was bound to happen, because LA is really dry, very a lot of dry plants and trees, and high winds that day. So I don't know exactly like the first spark that started the fire. I don't think anyone knows that. But once it starts, and with those high winds and that dry climate, and it also melted the pipes, like water pipes. The fire was so hot and so consistent that it melted pipes, and that was a big reason why water was not able to get to where it needed to be. And not just that, but I think that was the main reason. Yeah, because that's what stuck out for me. Because as like sort of like as a layman, like someone who's just watching a documentary about the LA fires and just hearing about like little different sort of political takes on it. This is the first time I actually dove deeper into it. And what stuck out to me was, the pipes melted. Like, the city's infrastructure, there's no way it could have handled that fire. And it did. The documentary series follows just like a few different people consistently from beginning to end. So there are some sort of like emotional, like relatable storylines you can follow from beginning to end. And just how there weren't enough firefighters, there weren't enough like vehicles, and the traffic jams when the fire initially started. People having to like leave their cars and run because their cars were stuck in traffic. Like, it does a good job of putting you in the fires. You do get cell phone videos from different LA people who were there, before, during, and after the fire. And it was just scarier than I thought, especially at the start, because no one really knew it was going to be that big. Even when they saw it, it was more of like a spectacle at first. And just so y'all know, like, it's probably going to happen again in the future. Like forest fires, I don't really hear that much about them in the news, but even all around the world. like they're kind of growing, I think, and increasing when it comes to the number of forest fires we're seeing globally. For whatever reason, whether it's like climate change, global warming, or whatever. But in the Southwest U.S., yes, it's dry. When it's dry, it gets really dry, especially with all those, all that wood there. But it's a really good documentary series, basically, if you are interested to learn about it but don't know much. But I feel like if you know about the LA fires to some extent, then you might not learn much here, but you might learn one or two new things. But me, as someone who didn't know a lot, I learned a lot, definitely. How would critics rate this? If I go to episode 1, yeah, I don't think, like, because it's just a documentary, like, stating facts. But I guess you could still rate documentaries. If I did, I would give this one a 9 out of 10. Because I kind of wish it went more into detail, I guess, from, like, the perspective of, like, the responders, like, the government people involved, and, like, kind of from the government officials' perspective, like, to see, like, why decisions were made. But it does a good job of, like, saying, like, basically, yeah, telling us, the audience, that this LA was not ready for this, and it came so fast, it came so quick. They tried, like, they really tried to take it down, take the fires down, but it was just too much. And can I do the next one? 3 minutes. Oh, next one's Polite Society. This is gonna be a while. So, Polite Society is I would call it the foreign American film. Like, I would put it in a genre called foreign American film. It's an American film, but made in another country. This is a British film, Polite Society, about 2 Muslim sisters, and they kind of get caught up in this kind of crazy, somewhat sci-fi-ish, not really sci-fi, but like high science concept, like drama, thriller, and it's a comedy and it's a drama. And I say American foreign film because I notice a lot of foreign films now, they're kind of copying, not the stories, but kind of the formulas when it comes to different genres. In this case, like a dramedy, but mainly a comedy, action comedy drama. But like they're doing their own story with their own characters from their own countries, from the different experiences of their own citizens. But like it's like in an American format, I should say. Like this film has, like sort of humor that you can understand. Some of the camera work is similar to like American comedies, but it's a very British film. I believe it's from Britain. Oh, I gotta put this back up again. And also, Play Society has a character who wants to be a stunt woman. So it is nice that to have sort of like the aspects of filmmaking implemented into the plot of a film. It's not like meta, not like that, but it's just like a great like a wink and a nod to the industry, but like in a good way, in a positive, optimistic way. All right. A merry mashup of sisterly affection, parental disappointment, and bald action. Polite Society follows martial arts in training Rhea Khan, who believes she must save her older sister Lena from her impending marriage. After enlisting the help of her friends, Rhea attempts to pull off the most ambitious of all wedding heists in the name of independence and sisterhood. Yes, the movie is as fun and crazy as that sounds. And I saw this movie twice because I really liked it. It's definitely not one of my favorite comedies, but like when it comes to a standard, like what a standard comedy is, this is up there. So it's not like the best for me, but I think it's a really good standard comedy. And again, like treating things that might be foreign to a lot of Americans, such as like Islam, people who are brown, I don't know, Arabs, Indians, different wedding customs, and sort of friendships and relationships you wouldn't really see on screen. And also like different types of villains, different types of antagonists. This is a creative movie when it comes to like how the protagonists are relevant or relate to the central conflict of the movie and the antagonist of the film, and also tying like family relationships into it. I think that's why I like it the most. I just love how I like how the relationships in the film, how they are formed and how they are resolved in the end after the climax where truths are revealed and everyone has to sort of fend for themselves. All right. Anyway, we're almost at 30 minutes. We are. So that's Polite Society. This one I definitely recommend. Here, let's get the critics consensus for Polite Society. The movie throws kicks and punches the genre etiquette book out the window to deliver a fun film that blends Bollywood splendor and British wryness. Yeah, so British humor. Like, I would say if you like Edgar Wright films, like his Cornetto trilogy, yeah, you'll like this one. It has that same sort of vibe. And if you like Bollywood films, not a big Bollywood influence here. Like, there are some, like, yeah, hints of it. Like, there is dancing, there is music, but it's not really a musical. But I would say, like, there are, like, there's a sprinkle of, like, Bollywood sort of, like, tones, elements, aspects of Bollywood sprinkled through the film. Yeah, check it out. Alright. Let's go to the third video.